Okay, hello. I am Cami Goldowitz. I am the liberal arts librarian for RIT. And my colleague is Jennifer Freyer, and she is the Saunders business librarian. And we have one faculty member here getting some information. And this is a level up virtual workshop. So although I was not at RIT yet, they had in the past level up workshops held in the library with pizza. So sorry, you have to pretend you're eating pizza, or you can have some tonight. But today's level up little info session, it's not that long, is about the streaming media. Sometimes the word media is confusing. It just means our films, our videos, the streaming media platforms that we very quickly brought on board at RIT. And now we have quite a few offerings, both for your courses, your coursework, and really for your own recreational use, because professors thus far have asked for lots of amazing items, documentaries, feature films, things like that, foreign films, historical films. So what we're going to do today is we're going to talk about 3 of the platforms that are the bulk of where you can find films with your RIT credentials, your same username and password like you would get into everything. So I am going to share my screen. And either of you, since you're here live with me, please feel free to jump in, especially Jennifer, if I forget something, or Miriam, stop me, ask questions, of course. So let me share my screen. So let me do this. I'm just going to share my screen starting at the library's homepage. All right. So here we are at the beautiful homepage of the RIT Libraries. This background photo cycles through to different pages, but in the center here is always the search bar. And up here are these menu items. And there's often a variety of ways that you can access information via the library's homepage. If you look at the tabs here, this is just a little homepage background. What we call summon searches everything the library has access to, both physical and digital. Databases is just what they sound. It's a subscription databases that we subscribe to, and those will include the film databases. And then journals, you search by title. Catalog, that's kind of what it has ebooks, but you think of it as the library stacks, kind of. And then course reserves, and we only have digital course reserves right now. So this is a way that you can find films and film databases. But then also, I kind of think for today, we'll look here under search collections, because we have a page dedicated to media links. And for faculty, it includes requests. Or for students or someone just wanting to access these films to watch, they're here as well. So I'm going to click under search collections media. And you're going to get, we're going to get here an info page. Sounds with some instructions, some links, but right here, the first bulleted list on the page lists the fundamental platforms we have for streaming different titles. They're companies that provide films where they have gotten the license to be, they're like the wholesalers, just like a database gets articles from journals. These film companies, streaming film companies, get titles of film licenses that are digital, and then we can subscribe to them via these different companies. So today we're just going to look at 3. We're going to look at Films on Demand, Canopy, and Swank. These 2 here, LinkedIn Learning and Skillsoft, they're skill-based, so LinkedIn Learning is available to the RIT community at large. Well, all of these are actually, but if you want to learn Excel or these are kind of skill building video tutorials more than films as we think of them normally. And I'll preface before diving into these why we thought it would be a good idea to offer this level up session, because these are, except for Films on Demand, these two main film companies that we've gone into contract with are brand new since COVID hit, because when COVID hit and campus closed, one of the main challenges was, how do we provide films to faculty and students, because the DVD collection basically became null and void. So we have built the film collection based on requests, but we're also taking time to review the DVD collection and see what could also be supported. Of course, there's budget issues, but we've been able to work through that this year as well. And pretty darn quickly, we got a very robust streaming collection up and running for this crazy year that we've had, where pretty much everything's remote. Some professors are able to show DVD in classes, but the nice thing about having streaming platforms, and this is really something that the library sought to establish anyway, because lots of universities offer streaming collections, whether they're solely online or on campus, because in terms of course time, it saves time when you can assign a film or watch a film on your own time rather than sitting in class using time to watch a DVD. So that's a real bonus to this as well. So moving forward, none of these are going to go away. It's not just a COVID time system. We're really excited that this is something that we were forced to establish, and it's going very successfully. So we're going to click on Films on Demand. Now, this is a film database that RIT had prior to really seeking to build a more robust streaming collection. And this is a packaged product, meaning they have a collection of films. We subscribe to their database. It is fluid in terms of they're always adding titles, so it has its own growth. And we can ask for certain titles, but generally Films on Demand is a packaged product. And because of that, and because of what they offer, there are over 40,000 titles. So I'll log in, your username and password, and then you'll get the Films on Demand screen. So a couple things here. You could search for a subject, a topic, a title. You could click into advanced search and combine terms like you would if you were conducting research in a database. And this database I think of as, it's not going to include feature films. It's not going to include foreign films or current full-length films. If we look, let me go back. If you click right, oh no, what I'm going to say first is, if you scroll down to these categories that they've set up on their landing page, you can see what was most popular this past year. And this really is an educational collection product. You're not going to find something that was in the movie theater 3 years ago in this. But what you will find, and I'm going to scroll down here, these are where the bulk of the films, the videos are coming from. ABC News, Australian, well, you can see them here, Art France. And people are generally pretty excited that they have a lot of PBS, because even though it's a public broadcasting system, a lot of the PBS films are not just free and open access from any of the PBS TV station websites. So it's a good place to find your PBS options titles here. So it's easy to just peruse some of these categories. You can see that if you click on this arrow over here, they'll keep going. I send out an email. It's updated once a month. So when we get an update about the most recently added titles, I'll send that in a group email to all of my College of Liberal Arts. They do have some skill building under technical education here. It's pretty current. Some of the stuff here can get kind of old. I mean, the collection's enormous, so it's been compiled for many, many years. And not that things that are old are bad, but they also have current. So just, you can scroll through here in your own time. But then over here, next to the icon, the logo, I should say, you could also look through, perhaps you want to see all their titles within a certain discipline. So this can take you, especially something that you're teaching or something that you're studying. Remember, when you're conducting research, videos are an appropriate resource for you, other than just text, books, and articles. So you could look in here for your topic. So honestly, they have some archives, as you can see, the older things. But it's nice. This is more academic inclined because they do have it set up, categorized here by discipline. So you can see the full gamut of multidisciplinary offerings here. The nice thing about Films on Demand is, because it is a package, any film that you see listed here, we've got access to. The other thing to take note of on Films on Demand is that they often offer their films in a couple different formats, the full video or just segments. So they've segmented educational videos, documentaries, so on and so forth. For class use, that's really helpful. You can assign just, watch segment 4 of this video, or show just a snippet rather than the entire video. For professors, I want to go back to the library's homepage because I just want to point out that there are instructions, let me go here, in terms of how to embed these links into your My Courses. So if we go back to the sharing screen of the media page from Collections, can you hear the hammering? Right here, scroll down a little bit, and it will show you how to embed them into your My Courses. So for the professor, this is helpful. This is where you can request a certain title that you're looking for, something that you've heard about. Now, with digital licensing of very recent films, sometimes it's tricky. They need a little time to be out in the world before. That's what I've found when I've searched for very recent titles. But eventually, it seems like almost every single film that you could hope for is going to have a digital license eventually. And sometimes we do order films from one-off companies, and they'll be in the library's catalog by title rather than existing in one of these databases. So that's Films on Demand. Very extensive, pretty easy to search, and easy to embed into My Courses in a myriad of different ways. Now, Canopy, we're really excited to have. It's documentaries, foreign films, indie films, a very high quality streaming company. A lot of universities, a lot of our sister and brother universities have Canopy. So we're really glad that we finally have this contract and this relationship established with Canopy. When you click, so I'm already logged in, my computer recognized my credentials, but it automatically passes you through that password page as all the databases do. You're going to get a categorized home landing page that lists all of what RIT has purchased. So Canopy has a huge collection of films, but we purchase title by title. We refer to that as a curated collection. So based on requests, we have purchased titles that are available from Canopy, and built a pretty substantial collection. So they are categorized here: documentaries, world cinema. I just recently ordered a ton of Italian films for an Italian film class. They often will list films categorically based on what's going on in the world, just to help you seek those out. These there's some archival older films and a lot of all the way through very current films. And Canopy is one of those companies that they have a relationship with so many production companies that if we are desperately seeking a title and we can't find it, sometimes we can ask Canopy, the company itself, hey, can you see if you can acquire this film? A lot of professors are asking for it. So a lot of film studies classes. Also, it is academic inclined. So they're going to speak to categories in that way. And the thing about Canopy, thing about all of the streaming film platforms is that we were very cognizant of asking and being certain that the films were available in closed caption. So most of these companies are very tuned into that requirement, that need. And their answer when we ask, is your stuff closed captioned, is always about 99% of our films are closed captioned. So that's pretty good. So I'm just going to click on a title. And it's fabulous. They're ready to go. This is, as you can see, says closed caption. You can enlarge it, of course. And I just love that you don't need to use up class time. And since we're remote, that we have these films to watch. Now I want to make sure. And if there's ever a problem with the closed captioning or a film working, you just let your librarian know. I've had very good success with vendors responding immediately to if there's an issue with the closed captions or playback or anything like that. Let me close this up here. So it seems like if I do, yeah. Just make sure.
Birds coming off those farms have to be almost.
So I am not quite sure why they're not. So like this would be Jennifer, do you have any anything to say about why it says closed caption?
I don't use Canopy very often, so I'm not sure if there's a main toggle to turn captions on or why that. Click the more button. Do you see the more button? Go down a little to the right.
Yes.
Transcript, citation tool, report. Yeah, so I've not seen that before.
Yeah. So this happens occasionally. So this would be a case where, so if you're going to use a film for a class, preview it. And if there's any problems, the vendors, they are very responsive. In fact, yesterday, there was a question about the captioning not working on a one-off vendor that we just established a relationship with. And I got the email back at 11 o'clock last night saying, we fixed it. So they're very responsive. They want their customers to be happy. Yeah, let's go back. Let's just click on another one. And if I find that we're looking at this and something's goofy, I'll follow through. So. Okay, let's just see here. But I know that as I've requested titles for faculty, I keep saying, oh, I want to watch that. Oh, I want to watch that. So this is really some really good stuff. Let's just see here.
It made me furious.
Yes, I don't. So I'm sorry that this is not.
And it made me ashamed. Some one of us should have been there with her.
So Miriam, I am definitely going to follow up on what's going on here with Canopy and their closed captions. But rest assured, I've seen them work, so I'll take care of that. So if you are browsing, it's going to have you browse what RIT has already purchased. If you are looking for, you can come into Canopy because it is a product that we curate. You can, as a professor, look for titles. And let's see here. I'm just going to put in France. So what Canopy is going to return to you is at the top, a listing of all the films that we currently have access to that we've purchased related to my search term. So it's just right here. It's just this one page. And then quite handily, it will suggest other titles Canopy has in their collection that you can peruse. And what they've just recently added to these, to the offering or the displaying of films that we don't own is, I believe, let's see, oh, so that's a great courses. Many of them have a preview ability. So they're working at uploading all of the previews for the films. I also, as a professor, because students can go in and watch anything they want that we have access to, you will see that down below, it says request access, and you fill this out. Now we will be notified of this, but there is, as I showed you on the, let me see. As I showed you, do you see the library homepage now? Okay. When I open new tabs, I'm always a little worried that you're not seeing it. So if we go back to this media page, we ask professors to make their requests because we have our own system set up, how we track them, how we get notified that a request has been made. So scroll down to the bottom of this page and click on this link. And this populates a Google Doc. I receive it immediately and I get going looking for it for you. So while it is tempting to just do it on this page right here in Canopy, we will ask you to fill in the media request form from the media page on our collections page. Does that make sense? Yeah. All right. So Canopy, really, really quality films here. So now I would like to take us, and I think students, well, not necessarily. I suppose that's a little stereotypical of me. I was going to say students probably will like this one the best. We also have a relationship with Swank, and Swank is the feature film provider. Pretty much anything you've seen in the theater, we're going to be able to get in Swank. Sometimes it's indie, and it can be, I think they have some foreign films. They do have older films, but this is where you're going to go for your like Universal Studios or films from mainstream production companies. So, for example, Fargo, closed caption. I just want to see, maybe, I don't know if there's anything on my computer. I don't know if that happens. Now, all this means is that maybe that's drowning out the drill. All this means is that our films are purchased for 1-year subscriptions. So it's just saying that on this date of 2021 was when we ordered this film, so we have it for a year, most likely. Films that support curriculum, especially courses that are offered every year or both semesters, they're going to get renewed. So I'm just gonna scroll over here. I know that you're an NTID, so I just...
Yeah, well, it's a chunk, but...
I had a couple lots, late 50s, lost a lot of money.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, but the
I
difference...
thought you were going to
I
show
wonder
this
if it's...
Stan Grove
So you can play with it on your
and stuff
computer at
before it gets
home,
kicked up to me.
because I'm just not quite sure why my closed captions aren't showing on my computer, because I've tested them many times. So Swank, feature films, again, it's a curated collection, thousands and thousands of titles. We have been purchasing them by title. Lots of fun stuff here. So for students, this might be the place where you go for your weekend film viewing, but not necessarily. You know, I love art films, I love documentaries, and for me, that is recreational viewing. Yeah. So what you see here is what we've got. It's a little bit over 70 that we've purchased in the last year. Just know that they're here. If you're a professor, you can ask for certain titles, and we look far and wide. Like I said, we have some one-off vendors, and those films are offered in, well, all the films are cataloged, so you can find them by title. So that is what I want to show you here, as well as just another finding means. So if you're here on the home page and you click over to catalog, and you know a film's title and you want to see if we have it, rather than going into one of the databases, you could do both. But for example, looking up this title, this is our results list. As you can see, just like you would look up books, the top hit, because I knew we had this film, you see Universal Pictures, videos, but if you click on this, because it didn't say DVD, it shows you right here, it's from the Swank streaming video collection, and that will take you right there. If I weren't already logged in, it would simply pass you through asking for your password and your username. So that's, if we want to go back to the home page, search collections, media, you'll see the list, easy access, how to embed them, and where to make your requests. From the home page, you can click on catalog and search for a film's title. Or if you want to go into a database independently, once you become more familiar with their names, you could simply type in the name of the database and open it from there. So the catalog for a title or a subject, but for a film title in the catalog, that would probably be more helpful, or going to one of the databases, the film databases, and looking for it. Jennifer, can you think of anything more? Let's see. I know what I want to say. Let's see here. These sessions, these level up sessions, are all listed and accessible from an info guide. So those are findable under research help, yeah, info guides. And these are called Level Up. They're Level Up virtual, but Level Up will get you there. And you will see upcoming level up topics and past topics. So soon, this level up session will be listed over here. And these are links to read about and to register for further topics this year until, well, April 21st. So I'm going to stop sharing and ask if you have any questions. So you're on mute? No, that's okay. I will learn sign language. That is my goal.
Sorry.
That's all right.
Could you please repeat again, where can we find these recordings?
Oh, yes. Okay. So from the library's homepage,
Okay,
I'll show you.
please.
Yes. So an info guide is a web page template that we subscribe to, this LibGuide service, and we can create their info guides. The industry term for them is LibGuide. We populate them with whatever information we want the info guide to be about. So under research help, info guides. And then the easiest way to find the level up workshops is to type it right in the search bar. So if you're ever teaching a course and you would like an info guide created to support your course for your students, you just have to ask your librarian.
Okay.
And we can make them for you.
Thank you.
They all look alike in terms of their interface. They have their table of contents, and then we can make boxes and different pages that that you can navigate easily through links on the particular info guide that you're in. So research help, info guide, just type in level up and you can click to open up this page. Any other questions?
I think everything is clear. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
So last but not least, I'm just going to do one more share because I want it to be very clear that the librarians are super easy to get a hold of if you have any further questions. So every info guide has a contact us button. You can email the reference desk. You can chat in to a real live RIT librarian from 9 to 5, Monday through Friday. There's always somebody during those business hours manning the reference desk to answer a question. If you have one to get answered on the spot, you can also go back from the home page and chat from here. You can also, under research help, open up the librarian page and find contact information for all the various librarians at RIT. So yeah, because we are here to help you with all of your library instruction, research, study needs.
Thank you.
You're very welcome.
Very, very nice. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. And thank you for attending. Yeah. Have fun. Have fun looking around.
Yeah, I wanted to learn more about videos and what's available at the library, especially now that we don't have we cannot go and walk to the library for a video or something like that.
Yeah, the DVDs make it, but yeah, everyone seems to be very pleased with what we've been able to establish, and we've gotten a lot of support back from it. So hopefully access and the collection and titles will just keep on growing.
Okay.
All right.
Perfect.
Thank you very much for attending today's Level Up, and never hesitate to contact us for any of your library needs.